Hi everybody. I'm doing a video today. If you had seen my previous video where I had a happy meal, I talked briefly about the fact that I was going to do several more videos. And one of those videos was going to be a serious subject. And that is this video here. I know that some of you who are friends with me in different groups or know me, personally, know that we had a terrible tragedy in our family back in May. And I have not talked about it much. I talked about it initially when it first happened. I haven't been able to talk about it publicly or on YouTube since that, because I'm still trying to process it. There's a lot of things that I'll try to explain that has kept me from really talking about it. And so I'm gonna just come out and say what happened and talk about it a little bit and what's kind of going on in my own mind. Everybody is different when something happens, but I want to just talk a little bit about that. So back in May, one of our grandchildren, she was 16 months old, was murdered. And what happened was that she is my stepson's daughter, and he and his girlfriend broke up, and his girlfriend, ex-girlfriend, got the baby's mother. She had a new boyfriend, and she was staying at his apartment overnight with the baby. And in the middle of the night, for reasons we do not know or understand, because I don't think it's understandable at all, he got up and killed her. And he's been arrested. He is awaiting trial. He's been charged with first-degree murder. There's no doubt that he did it. He tried to say it was an accident, but it was obviously intentional from her injuries. So it's been very difficult to process. It's been very difficult to talk about. And I don't quite know where to begin to say the things that I want to say. But it's been not only a grieving process for grieving for the loss of our granddaughter, but also very hard to, I'm not quite sure how to say, but our concern for our son has probably been even the hardest part, because our son, obviously is devastated. He really was close to his children and spent a lot of time with them, and this is one of the hardest things I think any person has to go through. So our concern for him has been probably one of the toughest parts. I truly believe in God, so I believe that, you know, our grandchild is in the arms of someone who is loving, and she will never be hurt again, and she will never feel pain again, and only know joy. So I have to keep that feeling inside to, you know, kind of helps with the pain. So, but I felt like I needed to come on here and address it. I kind of felt a tugging or a pulling to make this video. For the longest time, I just didn't want to talk about it at all. One of the reasons that I found it difficult to talk about is because of the pain it causes other people when you say something, you know, terrible like this. I had gone to the post office several weeks after this had happened, and the lady that's at the post office, her and I get along really well. She's a really sweet lady. And she asked me how I was doing. She said, I haven't seen you for a while, and I was just, you know, kind of worried about you. You doing all right? And, you know, I said, I'm really not. I'm not really doing all right. And I told her, you know, what had happened, and immediately, you know, she started to cry. And so you just feel almost guilty for telling people that this horrible thing happened in your life, because you don't want to cause them any pain either. There's enough pain, and you just don't want to spread it around. And yet you feel like if you don't tell people what happened, that you're, you know, not acknowledging it. So it's been difficult to talk about it. And that day, you know, even in the post office, when, you know, Maggie started to cry, a man came in and he was like, what's the matter? You know, everybody know we live in a small town, and everybody knows that, you know, Maggie, everybody knows her. And, you know, I said, you know, we were talking to the man about what happened, and he was visibly shaken by it all. Because, you know, you see it on TV, you see it on the news, you don't, you know, you feel bad, but you don't relate to it. It's not, you know, that a deep personal thing. So, as I said, it makes me not want to tell people, because I don't want to hurt people. I don't want to make people sad. I don't want people to you know, have that thought in their mind that this horrible thing had happened to someone that they knew, or someone they know, or someone they're close to. So it was really, it's been difficult. And like I said, you know, our concern for our son and for the baby's mother, and the devastation that they feel, and the heartbreak that they feel. We are, you know, that's our present concern, that they're okay, you know, that they're, well, they're never going to be really okay, but they're working through it, and you worry about their thought process and things like that. I have to say that over the past few months, you know, my son even though initially we were very, very concerned, he seems to have just sort of dived into work and to keep his mind occupied. But I know that in moments when he's not busy, it's pretty much the only thing he thinks about. So, you know, I'm the kind of person that when something happens in my life, or when I hear about things that have happened, let's just say that, when you hear things, terrible things on the news, or and things like that, that you sort of have to process it, and you try to figure out how did this happen, you know, how could this have happened? What went wrong with this person that destroyed all these lives, not only took lives, but destroyed their families' lives and things like that. And you wonder what could have been going on in that person's life, in that person's mind. And I'm the kind of person that sort of has to think about it and come to terms with it. But this, I can't come to terms with. I can't objectively look at this person that did this to our granddaughter and say, you know, maybe these things went wrong in his life and that's why he did what he did. I am unable to do that. I feel not hatred. I feel nothing towards him as a human being. That is really unlike me. That's unlike me. But I feel nothing towards him. I don't. One of the other reasons that I haven't really talked about it is because some of the times that I have spoke about it, what happens is people want to know, well, you know, was he on drugs? Was he, you know, how come no one noticed this? Where was this child's mother when this happened? You know, and I want to say this right out front. I blame absolutely no one but the person that killed our granddaughter. I do not blame her mother in any way, shape, or form. She is devastated by this, and believe you me, if she could go back in time and do it all over again, she would have never gone near this person. But, you know, monsters do not come with labels on them, don't have signs on them, don't, you know, show those things that would immediately tell you that this is a bad person and stay away from them. It happens all the time that people get murdered or hurt by people who never show any signs that they could be that kind of a person. So I in no way blame her. I'm sure that she feels enough guilt herself that she doesn't need anyone to point a finger at her and say, why, you know, why didn't you know? Why didn't you realize? Did that, you know, that he was capable of this? Same with my son, who feels horribly guilty that he wasn't there for her. He wasn't there for his child. He had broken up with the girlfriend. If he hadn't done that, this would have never happened. So they are carrying their own guilt. And even though I blame neither of them, and like I said, the only person responsible for what happened was this person that did this. I reluctantly want to call him a boy or a young man or whatever, because I can't. So, that's what's going on in my life. I mean, what has happened. And as a result of that, there's been a lot of stress, a lot of sort of feelings like that you're just not able to get it together on some days. And it's getting better. I have to say that it's getting better with time, but as a result of all that, plus the fact that it just seemed like, there was no time to really talk about or really deal with it, come to terms with it, process it, or maybe the inability to do those things. I have been sort of overloaded with stress. The normal things in life have really kind of been stressing me out. And yet you have to keep going. You have to keep on going. So, I've been really stressed, and because of that, I have some health issues that are really stem from stress and not getting enough rest and not kind of being able to shut down and rest your mind and your emotional state and all that. Stress is kind of the worst thing for your body. And so there are minor health issues. I don't want to say that they were serious, but they were just kind of piling up on top of each other. And finally, I had to go to the doctor and, say that I've got these issues going on. And she said, you have to get some rest, and you have to make it a point to get rest, and you have to do some things that kind of relieve your stress. And art for me is that stress reliever, but I'm having a hard time focusing on it. So I'm trying. So, I'm trying, people. That's all I can say. I am still, I've gone through the motions of everyday life. We all are. That's what happens. You can't just, shut down. But it's kind of been taking a toll on me and the rest of my family. So, and we all deal with things differently, Some of us are angry, and some of us are kind of, not dealing with it at all. So, but everybody's different, everybody grieves in their own way, everybody processes things in their own way, and so I can't say that any of those things are wrong. I can't. I do get concerned about, the anger part of it. I don't want someone to spend the rest of their life being bitter because that's a sad life. But anyway, that is what's been happening, and I appreciate the fact that you're listening. I just wanted to tell you that, you know, that's what's happened in our life. That's kind of the reason I haven't been around much. Haven't been doing any art, really. Hopefully that's going to change. I've been trying to work on things slowly, and I've had my grandchildren around a lot. And in fact, I'm going Tuesday to go to Pennsylvania to pick up 2 of my little granddaughters. One's 6 and one's 10. And they're going to come and stay with me for 10 days. And hopefully we'll do some crafts and maybe make some videos and have some fun. So we have some fun things planned. And, you know, that'll keep me occupied. More than occupied for 10 days. So I'm looking forward to it. So anyway, I'm going to wrap up this video, but before I do want to say this, that please be careful. I know that I said before, you know, evil people, monsters, people that are capable of really horrible things, they don't come with signs on them. But please just be diligent about who is around your kids. If you have any inkling at all that something isn't right, please, please, please pay attention to that. Pay attention, because you just don't know. You just don't know. I hate to say don't trust people, don't be a trusting person, but you know, sometimes you just can't be. So with that being said, I hope you all have a blessed day. Thank you for listening, and I will be back later on today, hopefully doing a little bit of art and having some stories that are, you know, some happy stories and some stories about some things that, you know, been going on, and a few little stories about my grandsons coming to stay with me for 5 days, and you know, so you know, that video will hopefully be a much you know, a much happier type of video than this one. So anyway, again, thank you for listening, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Bye now.